it's Ray, and I'm back again. And this is Ray's Reality Podcast. And I am here to talk about some reality, maybe. So we're going to see what we can get into today. And I think what I'm going to talk about today is going to be controversial. And I'm going to have people upset with me. But we're going to do it. And first, what we're going to do is I'm going to get that glare. That sun's going down, so I'm going to get that glare off me. Looks pretty. The water's shining out there. It's all glistening, so that's pretty cool. But today, I'm going to talk about horsepower. Yeah, we're going to talk about horsepower. We're going to talk about hot rods and cars, and the different things about that. And I'm going to upset people. I'm going to make them mad. And they're going to be all angry. And you're going to be all like, that guy's stupid. Because today is truly a reality check. We're going to check reality. And we're going to come down to real life. And we're going to talk about it. Because horsepower. I hear so many people talk about horsepower. Oh, that car's got 9 million horsepower. That one's got 10 million. Oh, everybody's got horsepower. So yeah, we're going to talk about real horsepower. So, and once again, like I said, I like doing that. The people, I got 2,200 horsepower. I got 3,000 horsepower. I got 5,000. How much horsepower do you have, Truly? That's what I thought. She's got this. Here's Truly's horsepower. Truly's got 1 horsepower. Look at that. 1 horse. What happened to the horse's head? That's only 3/4 of a horsepower there. So there you have it. 3/4 of a horsepower right there. So in reality, let's talk about horsepower. So many people talk about how much horsepower they have, and horsepower. And I got my car dyno tested. On the dyno test, my car had 1,400 horsepower. I have 1,500 horsepower. I got 2,000 horsepower. I got 3,000 horsepower. Oh, the dyno test. The dyno. That's where cars go to die. That's where they go to die. It's a shame. You guys that have dyno machines, I'm glad you got them. I'm glad you're able to make the money off dynoing all these cars, because giving people all their high hopes of how much horsepower they have. Horsepower. So yeah, am I making fun of you? I am definitely making fun of you, because I think horsepower is irrelevant. Not exactly 100% irrelevant, but however, the way it is today, it's irrelevant. When you go dyno test your car, it's irrelevant, okay? Because what's it matter? So at the end of the day, what counts? We're going to talk about it. So what we're going to talk about? Horsepower. So the horsepower of a car or a truck, van, motorcycle. Let me bring it back around. I forget the name of the ship, but there's a ship. This ship has 122,000 horsepower. Did you hear that right? 122,000 horsepower. Top speed, 35 miles an hour. What's that, 37 knots or something like that? That's the top speed. Oh, look at the horsepower. It's got 122,000 horsepower. Horsepower. 35 miles an hour. Really? I mean, seriously. You think with 122,000 horsepower it would go a little bit quicker, I don't remember the stats and stuff, but I was expecting to be more impressed, but I seen an airplane flying at 270 miles an hour. Actually had a Ford V8 on it. Sounded awesome. But the airplane, and I had a whopping, trying to think, I think they said 470 horsepower engine. I was expecting more. I was expecting more speed, but yeah, and some of those great big jets, yeah, they got jet engines, and yeah, they have tons of horsepower. But sometimes it's just when you look at horsepower compared to what it can do and what it does. But I'm going to bring it all kind of back down to automobiles, vehicles, car, trucks, vans, motorcycles, all that good stuff. Horsepower. A monster truck, for example. A monster truck. The average monster truck is pushing about 1,500 horsepower, 1,500 horsepower, with a supercharged big block engine on it. They're either using a big block Dodge, big block Chevy, big block Ford, and they got a supercharger on it. And they roughly are pushing about 1,500 horsepower. On average, that's where they're at on those big monster trucks. Average top speed on one of those trucks is about 65 miles an hour. Now, right now, I got somebody saying, "Hey, it's wrong." Whatever. I'm making fun of you. Recently, somebody just broke record of a whopping 101 miles an hour at Norwalk Raceway Park in Ohio. That was just recent this year, 2024. That is the record right now, from what I understand, is 101 miles an hour from a monster truck, which is wild, crazy, because when they're built for torque, they're not built for really horsepower, but they need a lot of horsepower to get those torque, and they got short bursts, and I think it actually said that they can get up to about 70 miles an hour during a monster jam. 65 to 70 miles an hour they can get up to, which is lightning pretty, they're shooting out of that, they're like rockets for the most part when they do that, because it's, all that torque and horsepower together. But on average, when you're watching the monster trucks, they don't really get over 35 miles an hour during a monster jam. So they're there for torque to crush stuffs and do, flips and ramps and all that stuff. So, but however, they have 1,500 horsepower. I could not tell you how many people I got my car dyno tested. I got 2,200 horse. I got 1,500 horse. Oh, it's all about the horsepower nowadays. Oh, this big horsepower. So, Toyota, there was a Toyota Supra. The Toyota Supra dyno tested at 2,200 horsepower, 2,200 horsepower, 2,200 horsepower. This Celica dyno at, okay? So now the guy, oh, look, at 2,200 horsepower. Oh, look at me, 2,200 horsepower. Oh, look at me, I got my time slip right here. Check it out. Oh, 2,200 horsepower. In reality, that car that claims to have 2,200 horsepower, they have 2,200 horsepower. But, however, the car starts out and it goes up, and then the horsepower starts going up, gets to about 382 horsepower, which most of them are set at 380, 360, 355 to 382 to 385 is the average horsepower for a Toyota Celica, depending on which one you got, which engine you have. I'm talking about the newer ones, 2019 and 2024s, Supra. So on those particular cars, the thing is, the dyno test, so they're going up, peak horsepower is 382. The car hit 385, and then for a split second, I'm literally a split second, it's like basically the car over revved, shot up to 2,200 horsepower, came straight back down to the 380 some horsepower mark, and then straight out to the 380. So basically, they claim it's got 2,200 horsepower. Technically, it's about 385 is where the band is across the board, because that's where the power band is, and it's got 385 horsepower at the end of the day. So here's the thing about that: all these cars, the Dodge Hellcat, they claim to have 1,450 horsepower. The Chevy, oh my gosh, the Hennessy Camaro, whatever, is supposed to have like 1,100, 1,200 horsepower. All these cars, they can have all these horsepower. But what I look at is, what's it doing at the track? You can have all the horsepower in the world, but when it's going to waste, you're not doing anything. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with that horsepower? Nothing. You go to the racetrack, you're watching them run the drag strip, you're watching them run the quarter mile, and I'm watching cars that have 350 horsepower beat these cars that claim to have 1,450 horsepower, 1,500 horsepower, 1,600 horsepower, 2,000 horsepower. They claim that it's got all this horsepower, but does it have the horsepower? Does it come out of the hole at 2,000 horsepower and maintain that 2,000 horsepower? No, it does not. Those horsepower numbers, they come out of the hole, they have 100 horsepower, they climb to 200, 300, they spike for a moment and then come straight back down to realistic times. So that is what we're looking at. That's how things happen. So, for example, let's check out this Maserati Gran Turismo. This Maserati Gran Turismo, this is I think that's a 2012 model. The Gran Turismos, they have 450 horsepower. Every single one of them, 450 horsepower. That's what the Gran Turismos have. They put them on a dyno. You could probably get one to spike more, but at the end of the day, it's 450 horsepower is what that car has. Nothing more, nothing less. It's got 450 horsepower, or 454 horsepower, because that's what they all have. So, all these people claim to have, I got 1 million horsepower. How fast does it go? How much horsepower? So, this is a truck here. This is a Chevy S10, 1999 Chevy S10. It's got a 350 with a 671 blower and nitrous. People say, how much horsepower does it have? How much horsepower? How much horsepower? And I tell them, it's got at least 100. It's got at least 100. So, will this ever be dyno tested? No, that will never see a dyno, because that's where cars go to die. I will never test it. When I'm out there at the drag strip doing 9s in the quarter mile with stock tires and exhaust, hey, it's good for me. I'm not out there to prove a point. I'm out there to know how fast my truck goes. I don't care if anybody else knows. I'm not out there saying, hey, look at my truck, it's better, my car is better. Because no matter what you do, you will always know and understand, you'll always have to know and understand that somebody else out there will always have, my dog's barking, sorry, the more horsepower. There's so many cars out there that have more horsepower than you'll ever imagine, and they're faster. They're sitting in a barn somewhere. They're sitting in a garage. I'm not talking about these stupid barn finds. I'm talking about cars that people drive, and people always, hey, my car's got this and my car's got that. Your car may be the fastest car at the track, but for every fastest car at the track that day, there's 5 more in the state that's faster than yours that's never been out to the track. They're sitting in a garage that's nice and clean and washed. They take it to a car show on Sunday. They have no idea what it runs. They don't care. They don't care how much horsepower it has, because they have the satisfaction that they built the car and they're enjoying it and they're having fun with it and they're liking it. So, that's basically what it comes down to. It's at the end of the day, when you go to the drag strip, how much horsepower does it have? It's irrelevant. What's it running in the quarter mile? What's it running on the track? I think it's more about the driver than anything else. The driver makes all the difference in the world. That driver, whoever the driver is, and there's many people out there that are better drivers than others, but driving, I knew a guy that we used to drag race. We drag race every car. No matter what car we were driving, I could be driving the slow car, I would still beat him in a drag race every single time. He just wasn't as good as driver as I was when it came to racing. Cars, motorcycles and quads, I could have a quad that had twice as much power as his did, and he would beat me every time in a race when it comes to motorcycles and quads. Every time he would beat me, I wasn't good with it. He was a much better driver than I was. Much better when it came to motorcycles and quads. Cars, Like I said, I raced. I can't remember what we had. I think I was driving a Fiero, and he had a Corvette one time, and I beat him. So it was just like, that's like impossible. But it's all about the driver. It's driving and knowing and understanding the car, knowing what the power limitation is, knowing how to shift if it's an old school car, knowing how to drive it and what to drive, and some people are afraid of their cars. They truly are. They're afraid to take it to the track and just really put the pedal to the floor and really run it out right. So it's like, and I get sick of people saying, oh, it's got this horsepower and that horsepower. It's got all the horsepower in the world. Who cares? It's like I said, it's irrelevant. So I can promise you, okay, take a car with 1,500 horsepower. Okay. Now I know some of you are going to be like, but here's a fact. Okay. Take a car with 1,500 horsepower that weighs in at 4,000 pounds and put it up against my buddy Hank's T-Bucket, 1923 T-Bucket with the small block 350 on it, pushing a whopping 350 horsepower. That T-Bucket kills them all day long. Kills them. But it's only got 350 horsepower. How's it do that? Oh my gosh. It's a surfboard with a great big V8 on it. Everything takes a fact. Everything is. You can have all the horsepower in the world. A ship with 122,000 horsepower. The top speed is 35 miles per hour. Okay? A 1,500 horsepower monster truck has a top speed on average of 65 miles an hour. Top rated speed recorded is 101 miles an hour. So in a drag race, a monster truck versus, I don't know, let's put it up against the Hellcat. We'll see the power of the Hellcat. It's going to annihilate that monster truck. They have the equivalent in horsepower, supposed to, but I can tell you that monster truck, re-gear it, put it lower to the ground, that Hellcat doesn't have a chance, probably. So, but that's the thing. All these people and their horsepower, I got horsepower. It's really irrelevant. I know a guy, Craig, with a killer BMW. He says it's probably pushing around 370 horse. That thing is it's a scary fast car to me. It's got a 350 I don't know. I think it's got the 5.3 liter LS engine in it with the 6-speed transmission behind it. It's a killer little car. So I don't. If he's out there racing, I'm telling you, he says a Hellcat can beat him. Not by much though. He's not. They're not getting away from him. I'm telling you that. And that's on a straightaway. So otherwise, if there's a curve involved, the Hellcat don't stand a chance against that BMW. So I'm telling you, it's hands down, without a doubt, not even the same thing. So, but yeah, these cars, like I said, it's everybody wants to talk horsepower. Oh, I got my car dyno tested. Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad you did. So now you get to go out there and, oh, look at me, I got this much horsepower. And then a Tesla pulls up next to you and destroys you on the track. So they don't have horsepower, do they? They have an electric engine. Yeah. So anyways, they, that's the things. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to discuss different matters like this, to put it out there, because to me, like I said, I think people, you need some reality. You need a little bit of raised reality is what you're needing. You need a little bit of it, so you understand. And that's what I'm here for, to give people a little bit of reality check on their vehicles and all these different matters and all these different topics. But yeah, it's like, give me a break, man. And you know, if you're getting all upset now because you're I got a horsepower, I'm happy for you, you know. But I'm telling you, really, honestly, take it to the track, take it to the drag strip. I'm not talking about these idiots that get out here and do donuts and drive around in circles in the intersection. It's like those people are sad. It's like let me take this car out here and look at, I can drive around in a circle. And if I drive around a circle fast enough, eventually the back end might break out from it, you know, and you know, hey, maybe try water. Yeah, just put a little bit of water out there on the street. That way it'll help you spin more, you know. So instant race car, just add water. You can spin the tires in the rain. So few people that do that, just, yeah, whatever. So yeah, I'm not talking about that ignorance. That's not horsepower. That doesn't, you know, those, and it's always the same 3 cars that you see in a street takeover. Oh, look, I'm gonna drive around in circles at an intersection. Yeah, because you can't get out there on a racetrack and drag race it because you don't know how to. You just be driving around in circles at the tree, so you won't be able to go in a straight line apparently. You know, and you can't go down the drag strip with 10 people hanging out of your car, you know, videotaping your ignorance, trying to kill themselves. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, go to the drag strip. You know, put your car out there at the drag strip. Put it out there. Go out there and race. I laugh every time I go out there. Especially, I'm not trying to pick on you Hellcat people, but I am, and you demon people. But the Hellcat people and the demon people, seriously, give it a rest, man. The last time I was at the strip, a Hellcat pulled up to the line. It might have been a demon. He had his slicks on it and the open exhaust, and he had all his look at my car. And this piece of turd, backfiring turd-mobile Mustang, 30 different colors, pulled up to the line and to drag race this beautiful demon there. Light turned green, and I was like, you know, there goes the Mustang, but the Hellcat's just like, or the demon's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I hit the gas. Okay, hit the gas a little bit. The Mustang annihilated him. The Mustang was halfway down the track and it wasn't even spinning tires. That's the sad part. The Mustang was spinning tires, but the Hellcat wasn't doing nothing. I'm like, what is going on? Am I missing something? And then the same guy pulled back around next to a Tesla, didn't stand a chance. Tesla was gone. So then there was I think it was a Buick Grand National. I think it was a beast. I don't even know what was in this thing. It wasn't no 6-cylinder. But Buick Grand National pulled up there, and oh my gosh, that was the fastest car of the night. Nothing could beat that Grand National. Everything, I think might have had a big block in it. But that thing was a beast, absolute beast. And I think the guy was claiming to have about 750 horsepower. That thing was a beast. Oh my gosh, that Grand National that night was the car. Nothing that pulled up next to it beat it. It was a grudge match, so there was no everything. When you pulled up to the line, the tree, to drag race at the racetrack that night, whatever pulled up next to you, you were racing. Whoever won. There was no handicap, none of that stuff. But it was nice to watch. But the funny part was all these so-called cars with all this horsepower pulling up there with 1,400 and 1,500 horsepower getting beat by these 300 to 400 horsepower cars, 700 horsepower cars with half or less than half of horsepower that these other cars have are annihilating them. The driver. It's probably about the driver. The driver just can't drive the car, doesn't know how to. So that's the problem. So you're out there doing these things. It's like, hey, you know, talk about your horsepower you want, but at the end of the day, it's more about the driver, the car, the weight of the car. There's so many things to take into factors and to understand. It's not all about the horsepower. It can have all the horsepower in the world, but like I said, it's irrelevant. To me, it's irrelevant. So I know some people out there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with that. But hey, when I'm at the track and I'm seeing these other cars beat these so-called 1,500 to 2,000 horsepower cars because they got their dyno slip. Hey, look at what I got. I got a dyno slip saying that I got 2,000 horsepower. Look at me. And then a car with 350 horsepower pulls up next to them, supposedly 350. I don't know, but that's what they're saying, because they're not worried about what they built their car to drag race the race, and they're beating these cars. So, I'm not saying that it's completely irrelevant horsepower, but it really depends on the vehicle, what it is, how much it is, and what they're doing. All these cars. Oh my gosh, the Koenigsegg, the Koenigsegg, the Bugatti, the Lamborghini Aventador, Lamborghini Huracan, the Corvette, the new C8 Corvette. These are all cars, those supercars, high-powered, hypercars, whatever you want to call them. They're 750 horsepower, 850 horsepower. That's where they're at. They're between 750 and 850 horsepower, these cars. That's where they're at. That's what they claim to do. But they're built they're lighter, they're much faster. They're beating these cars that have 1,500 horsepower because they're boat anchors out there. So, you can have these big heavy cars, these Camaros, these Mustangs, these Challengers, Chargers. They're big heavy cars. So if you put that 1,500 horsepower up against a 750 horsepower Corvette, and people say, well, I beat a Corvette. I raced the same Mustang twice. Mustang GT. I have a 2023 Chevy Silverado. Okay, 1,500 with the V8, 5.3 liter V8 in it. And I raced I don't even know what size engine, the V8 Mustang. It said 5 liter on the side, or 5.0, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, 2 races against my Silverado. It didn't win. So 2 times. So 2 races. They're not beating it. So seriously, I mean, how much horsepower do I have compared to that? And they're both heavy vehicles. Now, if I was driving the Mustang, I would have beat the Silverado. I know I would have. Straight out, it would have been a done race with me. So I would have beat it. So it's all about, man, how to catch, what gear to have, what gear to catch, all that good stuff, and just how to drive it. So, if you see me and you're like, oh, I'm gonna spit in your eye because I got horsepower, I don't care. So it's to me, like I said, it's irrelevant. All that. You can build it all. You twin turbocharged V this there. I got all this stuff. I got turbochargers. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. So my little hot rod, I don't know. It's got at least 100 horsepower. I know what it should have, but at the end of the day, it's a 9-second truck in the quarter mile, street legal. So hey, I'm good with that. I had an El Camino. People, how much horsepower I have? I don't know. It was a 9-second car, so high 8s. That was with street tires and exhaust. So I drove it on the street. So that was a car. So is that a fact? You got a time slip? Prove it. I do. So I do. But anyways, I don't have nothing to prove to that about that. Everybody always thinks I got the fastest car in the world. I knew this, an idiot in Kentucky. I'm gonna have the fastest Camaro in the world. I'm gonna have the fastest Camaro. He had the biggest turd box Camaro you ever seen in your life. So you open the hood, it looked like a spaghetti dinner from a all-you-can-eat buffet spaghetti dinner. I was like, what the heck is this going on? But anyways, he never won a race. Never. That I ever seen. It's like, but he talked big. He had a big talk. So, you know, hey, I got all this horsepower. It's irrelevant. Never won a race. His built everything 8 million horsepower Camaro against my stock Z28 Camaro. Didn't stand a chance. So, because it was built right. And the way you build them makes all the difference in the world as well. Are you building it for horsepower? Or are you building it to actually have power and have a power band that can actually get out there and do what it needs to on the track? So my power band is from when I take off from the tree all the way through to 8,000 RPMs. So I'm doing 3,000 to 8,000 all day long. That's my power range. So I leave them a light, I'm at full power. It's on, man. It's all full power from there. So, and no, I don't use the nitrous. So, hey, that adds 250 horsepower. Anyways, all it does is for me, my nitrous, what it does, it actually cools down the blower by 75 degrees, and it helps give it more of a dense, the gasoline and everything cools down, and that's what actually helps it more than anything for having the nitrous. So it's not so much as, oh, you got horsepower, so all that funny stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm sure I upset somebody with this. You know, it's one of those things. I love cars. I'd love to see your car. Anything like that. I'm a car guy. I like all cars. You know, it doesn't matter what they are. I like foreign, you know, domestic, whatever, Camaros, Mustangs. I like to see them all. You know, nice, a beautiful Toyota Supra, older and newer. You know, nice Honda. I don't even know what I saw today. I saw a car today. It was a little truck, one of those little teeny, weird-looking trucks. I think it was killer looking. So it's ground effects and everything running around here in Tampa. I hope to see that again. I'll get a picture of it, so put it online. Had a ground effects kit. It was an old school kit that they put on it, Ferrari Testarossa kit, but it was just a cool looking little truck. Today it's been seeing a lot of mini trucks around here lately. It's been pretty cool. Been like seeing them. So anyways, I like all vehicles though. New, yeah, old, doesn't matter what it is. You know, seeing a nice, beautiful 67 Camaro or a 70 Chevelle SS, you know, I'd love to see them. So anyways, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I'll be putting more out, and hope you like them. And keep watching, and keep getting upset, and keep enjoying, and keep everything else. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. So thank you very much, and thanks for watching.